Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. As you guys can tell, I changed the name of the channel into Neya because that was the original name of my main channel, Neya Visions. So I thought it's a lot easier for everybody to find me with just one name that unifies everything. So right now you can find me on Neya, Neya Visions, Neya Goddess on Instagram and on TikTok, Neya Goddess again, or I am Neya. If you find Neya on Google, you find me. So that is a lot easier for everybody to understand. And in today's video, I want to bring back the old good man Neville Goddard because I read so much about the law of assumption and in general about quantum physics and how this universe works, and I'm constantly testing new things, but sometimes I just go back to Neville and things just become easier and easier and easier. And I talk about my experiments with the law of assumption on my Patreon, where you guys also share your experience. We do challenges in there and so much more. So if you want to check out my Patreon, the link is down below. But today, what I want to talk about Neville is the fact that you can get your manifestation in less than 3 days. Now, I am pretty different from a lot of people on YouTube because I don't focus heavily on self-concept. As you guys can tell, I already made videos on self-concept. I explained to you even in my webinar the science behind the self-concept, and I'm not saying necessarily is wrong, but I want you to understand, guys, that things in the quantum field can really manifest instantly. You can manifest out of thin air, and I did it, and you can even get your manifestation in less than 3 days. Is actually possible. And it is so funny because one of my clients stumbled upon these words on Neville Goddard that I read, but I forgot about it. And I was like, how could I forget that Neville said this? And let me try it once again. And it is so funny because I tried exactly what Neville said again, but I did it like, I basically zero my mind to everything that I knew, all the information about quantum physics, all the information about self-concept and all the things that other YouTubers said. I said, okay, cancel all of this. Let me just read Neville again, like it was the first time that I'm ever reading this man, and let me apply it to the T, and see if it works again with a fresh mind. Because sometimes I think that we have to do that because we have to constantly remind ourselves that our belief do create, and it's what the story that we tell our mind. So if you zero your program in your mind and you say, okay, this thing is going to manifest whatever that is in less than 3 days, that it's going to happen. You can manifest on a time crunch. You can do whatever you want. Like, I don't care what other people say. I don't care when people say, oh, what is the rush? You shouldn't have this rush. It happens when it has to happen. Sure, it happens when it has to happen. So you don't have to necessarily control the timing. You don't even have to focus on the timing. But know that Neville said this, and know that you can manifest even $1 million out of thin air. It is actually possible. It really only depends on your belief system. So I am going to read what Neville said about manifesting in 3 days, because Neville is a promise that he's making. He's saying, if you truly believe this, if you're buying the pearl of great price, this can actually happen in less than 3 days. And he made also a famous test for people to test the law and to make them understand that this can work in less than 3 days. So sorry for that. I'm going to read what Neville says, and I'm going to tell you what happened to me, and I'm going to tell you also the example that Neville gives so we can just refresh our mind. And I want you guys to practice this as well, to zero all your programs and to say, let me this one more shot. Even though you might have heard this again, you might have heard this in the past, maybe you have so many information about the law, but you're not really practicing it 100%. I want you guys to take this as this is the first time that you ever read these words, you ever listen to these words, and you do it from today. And this is it. This is going to be the day where you're going to get your manifestation, because I think that reframing the topic in this way makes you guys open to the unknown and makes you guys manifest faster, because sometimes when we gather so many information about something, we actually build resistance without even noticing, because we know so much, but we're always checking, is this working? Am I doing it correctly? But sometimes when we hear something for the first time and we just apply it, it magically works because we don't really have resistance. We're just like, oh, let me try it. And again, we don't have resistance. So try to take it in this way. And I find it very fascinating that Neville was so sure that this works in less than 3 days. So it is so funny because I did this and I thought, okay, let me do it for 3 days and let me see if it works after the third day. It started happening in the first day and I was like, what the fuck? It manifested instantly. I thought I had to wait 3 days, but Neville says it can happen in less than 3 days. For me, I started out at night. I woke up in the morning, continued, and by the end of the day, I got my manifestation. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? So let me read it for you guys so you understand what I mean. And it's something repetitive, but listen to me. 3 days, the duration is 3 days, Neville writes, for response in this world. So Neville is 100% sure that you only need 3 days to get your manifestation, whatever that is, even $1 million. If I would now assume I am what I want to be, if I, Naya, assume, or Virginia, whatever, I assume I am one I want to be, and if I am faithful to it, so I don't doubt it, and walk as though I were, so I go throughout my day and I just say, I am this, the very longest stretch, the very longest is saying like at the max given for its realization is 3 days. So isn't this amazing? The Neville is saying in the moment that you assume something, the story that you tell to yourself is that I am this very thing. I have this experience and you don't doubt it. You walk in the world with this confidence that you have this thing at the very max. You're going to manifest it in 3 days. That's a big statement that Neville is making. If there is something tonight that you really want in this world, then experience in imagination what you would experience in the flesh, were you to realize your goal and deafen your ears and blind your eyes to all that denies the reality of your assumption. So basically over here, Neville is talking about the theta state and the alpha state of SATS, which is the state to akin to sleep, which we know scientifically and neurologically, that is the state of deep meditation, drowsiness that we find when we are falling asleep. Our brain waves slow down, our conscious mind drops, and we are in between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. Pretty much what I say all the time, we are conscious in the subconscious mind. So we go deep into our programs and we start bringing an imaginative act that implies that we have what we want. So for instance, I break it down very easy for you. You want to manifest a text, you imagine to receive a text, or perhaps you want to manifest your specific person, you imagine to be in a loving relationship, 10-second scene. It doesn't have to be long at all, and it shouldn't be long. You being with that specific person, you imagine having the money, you see the money in your bank account, or perhaps you have cash money, whatever, you have the job. You imagine a 10-second scene in a state to akin to sleep, pretty much when you're falling asleep. It's not that hard to do, okay? Everybody can do it. And so many people are like, but what if I can visualize? If you cannot visualize, you can affirm while you fall asleep is the same thing. And the reason why it's the same thing, because by the time that your brain waves are going to slow down and you still hold this thought that you are what you want to be, your subconscious mind is going to automatically create pictures for you, even if you're not aware of it, because your subconscious mind can only see in pictures. So don't stress about it. Don't stress, I don't see it. I don't see it in 4K. I can't visualize. Don't stress. The more you stress, the more you're building resistance. If you can't imagine it, just affirm. It's the same damn thing. I want you guys to remove all this resistance from your head. You're not doing anything wrong. Whatever you're doing it correctly. Whether it is affirming, whether it is seeing the picture, or hearing something, or smelling something. Everyone is different. Go with what feels right for you. You're not doing it wrong. Okay? You're not doing it wrong. Remember this. Okay? So, and if you do this, you will be able to tell me, before I leave this city, because this was a talk that Neville was doing, before I leave the city of Los Angeles, that you have realized what was only a wish when you came here. So he is so confident, 100% confident that you're going to get your desire in less than 3 days, at the very least 3 days. He also writes, if I could completely saturate my mind with one sensation, so mind, body, and soul are all aligned. If I would completely saturate my mind with one sensation and walk as though and walk as though it were already a fact. So it already happened because you imagined it. Once you wake up in the morning, that thing that you imagined has already happened. It's not even in the future, has already happened. It's a fact. I am promised, so Neville is making a promise over here, and I cannot find any denial of it in the great book, because in the Bible it says, once is asked is given to you, that I do not need more than a 3 days diet if I remain faithful to it. So what Neville is trying to say over here, in a state akin to sleep, you imagine what you want, you wake up in the morning and you bring all the facts, like you blind your eyes to the 3D. You don't care what people say, what is going on. If you don't see movement, you just shut everything down. And it's so easy because if you only have 3 days, you're like, listen, let me just try it. I don't even have to wait 6 months or 5 months or 5 weeks or whatever. I can just try this for only 3 days. You can do this, right? You can stop doubting and suspend your disbelief for only 3 days. It's like, it's legitimately possible, okay? So you walk in the morning and you just confidently know that whatever you have assumed in a state akin to sleep, it's a fact. It's done and it's yours, and this is who you are right now. And you never doubt it because you're experimenting this. Okay. Here is the important part to remember, Neville says, but I must be honest about it. If I change my diet throughout the course of the day, or the days in the course of the day, Neville says, I extend the time interval. So Neville is saying, if you're changing your diet and you're doubting or going back to your old self or whatever, it's not that the manifestation won't come into fruition. Your manifestation, even if you doubt it, it's going to happen eventually because you have done the imaginative act. So that's how powerful imagination is. However, you could probably assume that if you doubt it, maybe, and I'm not even agree with this, and I'm going to tell you why. If you doubt it, most likely you're not going to get it in 3 days, but you could get it in 4, 5, 2. The time span is going to expand because you kind of doubt it here and there. And it's not even true. Because it's going to happen nevertheless if you imagined it, and that's the fun part that I want to explain. So okay, so Neville is by saying this, Neville is absolutely certain that the imaginative act done in a state akin to sleep creates. And it is so funny because he gives this technique to some of his students in a conference that he did back in the days, and he said to climb a ladder. So basically he told everybody, in 3 days from now, before you go to bed at night, try to imagine climbing a ladder. For instance, close your eyes right now, see a ladder. You could see it, and then see your hand moving and touching the ladder, see your other hand touching the ladder, and your feet going on the ladder and climbing the ladder, and bring all the sensation to climbing the ladder, all the realness of the imagination, which I'm going to explain in a minute. And so what happens is that people did this for 3 days, and so many people have done it even on YouTube, and then in the days, in the morning and during the day, Neville says to write everywhere, in your wallet, in your fridge, everywhere, so you could see it in your screensaver, whatever. I will not climb a ladder. 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 But during the night, you're imagining to climb a ladder. What happened is that the people actually climbed the ladder, even if consciously they saw everywhere written, I will not climb a ladder. And Neville adds that you could easily manifest $1 million just by doing the same thing. Now, this is true. And this is the power of your imagination. Like, I did this, obviously not with the ladder, because I know it works. I don't have to prove myself or to prove the law. Like, I've done it millions of times, so I don't need to climb the ladder to know that imagination works. So what I did, I went to a state akin to sleep. I imagined the thing that I wanted to manifest, and I wake up in the morning and I imagined it also in a drowsy state in the first, minutes of the morning of the awakening state, because the brain waves are going back to beta. So you're still in a slower brain waves. So it's the same state to akin to sleep. And during the day, I actually worked. I had a couple of clients, and I was never doubting it. And then at some point, I started to spiral for I don't even know what fucking reason I spiraled, maybe my old program. So I did doubt it a little bit, and then I was like, no, cancel thought, I don't need this, I am experimenting this, I have this, I am this person, I am this person, I am this person, I am this person, and I thought it's going to take 3 days for me to accomplish this. And late at night, I was watching, I was almost about to do some meditation or something like that. I don't even remember. But I was feeling very peaceful, like I wasn't doubting it, and poof, manifestation came. And I remember I looked at the phone and I was like, what the fuck? It already happened. Neville is right. It can take less than 3 days. What the fuck are we all doing on YouTube saying you have to work on self-concept, you have to do this, you have to do that? No, you don't. You just have to, in a state to akin to sleep, stop thinking about the past, imagine what you want to manifest, never doubt it, and it will manifest out of thin air no matter what circumstances. And I honestly need to start it with bigger things, because this blew my mind that I came back to this knowledge and I was like, why all these coaches, what are they on about? Like, Neville was right. Yes, you have to change your state of consciousness, you have to change your self-concept, but self-concept is more about hardening to fact. It's more about you get what you want and you sustain it because you have changed internally. So, but it's not about manifesting that specific thing that you want, because if you're absolutely certain and you declare within your consciousness that you are what you say you are, that you assume what you want to be, it's bound to find manifestation. Everyone says this. Even Sadhguru says this. Even Sadhguru that has nothing to do with Neville says what is powerfully established in the mindscape is bound to find manifestation in its actuality, because every guru, every spiritual person, every religious person, every mystic, every philosopher knew about this, knew about the power of imagination, knew about the power of the mind. So guys, remember this. You can get your manifestation in less than 3 days. It's only about your state of mind, and it's not easy to do. Okay, let me add, because some people ask me, but should I feel it real? Should I get all the sensation of realness? For me, no, because Neville emphasized a lot the feeling, but I feel that when you are in a state to akin to sleep and you are imagining this scene, because your state is already drowsy, it's like your conscious mind is almost dropped to sleep. Every scene that you are imagining in your head feels real already. Like, you really, especially if you imagine it like 10 seconds and then you loop it and then you loop it and then you loop it and then you loop it. The more you repeat it, even in the same night, the more you repeat, at some point your head is going to be like, what the fuck? Like, I'm actually there. And you won't even be conscious of this. You will feel that you're there, but you don't have to create any feeling. It will come natural. Like, because of the act of repetition, your head won't distinguish anymore the fact that you have a body and you are in bed. Your head will be literally in that scene without you even having to put any feeling, any effort. It will just be the byproduct of the repetition. So by doing this, naturally you will create a feeling, because feeling is created by thought. So by imagining the scene, you will naturally create the feeling that you will have by being in the scene. You don't have to force it. Like, you don't even have to think about it. It will just happen. And your head wouldn't distinguish whether it's happening in your imagination or not, because you're falling asleep. So you don't know. You actually don't know where you are. You're not in your body. You're not in your mind. You're in that place. And by virtue of that, in the awakened state, when you wake up in the morning, you do it again. So your head is again, that thing actually happened. That thing actually happened. And then you will go on about your day, never doubt it, either not think about it or never doubt it. And because you don't doubt it and you don't build resistance, but you're doing other things during the day, or you don't, again, create resistance towards it, it will manifest. I know that people think that when I say it's easy, They think that I'm patronizing them, but I'm not patronizing you guys. I'm just trying to open your mind to the fact that you can manifest out of thin air. You don't have to believe in the limiting beliefs of other coaches. Like, it's this easy. Neville is the master of manifesting with imagination. I mean, it's not even me saying this, like, he said it. And so many other people said it. So I tried it and it worked for me in less than 24 hours. So I highly suggest you guys to try this method and to know that at the very max, whatever you want, if you don't put any limiting beliefs on it, if you don't put any resistance to it, if you just trust the process, if you trust whatever, I don't care what you want, whatever you want will manifest at the very max, at the very stretch, in maximum 3 days. So isn't that exciting to know that you can get what you want in less than 3 days? Just let me know, and let me know how it works for you guys. Comment down below, and I see you very soon in another video. Bye.